Right, so hey guys, very good evening to you and a warm welcome to the stream. Hopefully everybody can hear me today. We did have some teething troubles on the stream from a week ago, so fingers crossed. I hope you can hear my microphone. So we're going to be flying our ATR 72 again as we were last week. This time with some sound, and we'll do the return leg of what I did last week. Today it's going to be Newquay to London Gatwick Airport. Currently on the ground here at Newquay, stand 22. Aircraft's powered up. We've got all the weights and balances all loaded up, the fuel's loaded. We just need to set up for the flight now. So we'll just jump back in the cockpit and we'll get going. So we'll just bring up our sim brief profile, which we've got all sorted for our flight. We're flight T3457 today, which is an Eastern Airways flight daily, Newquay to Gatwick, ATR 72 Series 600. This is the new ATR from Asobo, released a little over a little under 2 weeks ago. One or two little bugs with it, but nothing too major. This new aircraft from the Expert series, so it suggests to me there's going to be a few more aircraft coming along at some point. This one does provide a little bit more systems depth, and otherwise it's a very nice aircraft to fly. I'm quite enjoying it. I've done a fair few flights now, so let's get underway then. So looking at our flight plan, this is just a summary of our flight plan. So we're going Newquay Echo Golf Hotel Quebec to destination Echo Golf Kilo Kilo London Gatwick, with an alternate today of Echo Golf Hotel India, that's Southampton, just in case we can't get into Gatwick. We will be on the VATSIM network, so hopefully we'll have some control when we get to Gatwick. At the moment there's nobody about on the map, other than Swanwick Military, but they're not doing anything commercial today. And at the moment only Gatwick grounds on frequency. Hopefully, as I say, by the time we get there we'll get some more coverage. Still quite early in the evening so far. Right, anyway, let's get ourselves sorted. So we'll go down and where are the FMCs? Right, okay, so we'll put everything in the FMC FMS 1 here. So we'll go to the init page. Pause in it, we'll just quickly put in our GPS position, get the aircraft telling, or tell the aircraft where it is. Nav data, we're using the FlightSim nav database, last updated on the 6th of May. So the weights, we've already checked this out. So top one, our zero fuel weight, we are empty weight is 13,010 kilos. We've got a payload of 4,859 kilos, which gives us a zero fuel weight of 17,869. Pop that in there. Fuel on board we've got loaded 1,636 kilos, which gives us a gross weight of 19,505 kilos, so just over 19.5 tons. Takeoff CG 27.2%, and it gives us a takeoff trim setting of 1.1. Okay, and also we're just going to check the reserve fuel, so we'll come down to our planned fuel here. Okay, so Reserve fuel 381 kilos, so just pop that in there, 381 kilos, which is good enough for our aircraft for 45 minutes. Right, so we'll go back to the flight plan, we'll go to the route, and so our route today, there's no standard instrument departures out of Newquay other than a noise abatement requirement, which we'll check that on the charts in a moment. So we'll pop in our from and to, so Echo Golf Hotel Quebec, Echo Golf Hotel Quebec / Gatwick Echo Golf Kilo Kilo. Right, so we've now told the aircraft where we are going from and going to. Okay. So we'll just bring up the... and it's decided to lock me out. Very helpful, Simbrief, Navigraph even. Right, so Newquay, go into the Newquay information, whatever. We'll just have a quick look at the METAR from 17 minutes ago on the 8th, 1820 Zulu, winds at 270 degrees, 8 knots, it's good for runway 30. And very foggy, rain and fog. 13 degrees, yeah, hence why we have fog. Okay, so I'll check out the noise abatement in a moment. Right, okay, so we'll be going off of runway 30, will pop in there. So our first waypoint today, we'll be going to Dorley, which is over near Exeter. Helps if I spell it right. Very good. Example there of why there are two people on the flight deck. And from Dorley we're going to be taking the airway of November 17. So airway, we'll click on airway, got a list of airways from Dorley. November 17 going to Otmet. Into that, and then from Otmet, if they're still using runway 26 left at Gatwick, we'll pop that in. 26 left, and we'll pop in the Otmet 1 Golf Star, which is usually via Willow, so I'll pop that in there, execute that, and we'll clear the discontinuity. Okay, so just check through the route. Dorley, Elrip, Otmet, Sokdu, Needle, Elder, Tatlu, Holly, Willow, and then sequence for the approach. Right, okay, so come back to the performance. We'll just get rid of the flight plan there for a moment. Right, okay, so Newquay. I'll just grab the transition altitude off of this chart, 3,000 feet, we'll pop that into the FMS there. Right, we don't need that one now. So noise abatement then, for runway 30, aircraft 5,700 kilos, maximum takeoff weight or more, climb straight ahead until above 2,000 feet above ground level or across the coast before turning on to track. So nice and simple here. Right, so what we'll do, we will put in an initial stop altitude of 3,000 feet for the transition altitude. And what we'll also do is, what's the airfield height? Is here somewhere. Port elevation height 390 feet, so we'll put 390 on the primary flight display. So this will basically give us a reminder of the altitude that we'll climb to before we can turn, because we'll most likely be up in the clouds. If it's foggy out, we won't see the ground at all, so we'll probably just climb up to this altitude and before turning direct to Dorley. As I say, there's no ATC at the moment. We'll double check that before we go, just to make sure. Stop that flashing. Right, okay, and the runway heading, we'll pop that up the 302. So we'll spin that around to give us the runway heading. Right then. So I'm not really doing anything in any particular order, I'm afraid. I'm still quite learning the aircraft, so we will look at so takeoff's all checked. We've got a V1 106 V. This is a rotate speed of 106, a V2 of 110. So we'll so I think we're probably about ready to get started. So I'll put the no smoking, no device and the seatbelt signs on. We'll just quickly go through the overhead. Just we'll extinguish all the white lights. Basically, is the dark cockpit principle. So there shouldn't be any lights on. Once everything's up and running, we should have all the particular lights extinguished. So anything that says fault is basically anything that's not running at the moment. So on the overhead here we've got various flight control switches, backups, landing gear, indications, doors. We've got the cabin and cargo doors open on the left hand side, they'll be shut before we start. Fuel switches, attendant calls, several lights, exterior lights, prop brake, engine starting, electrical power, hydraulics, AC power, probes and window heat, various anti-icing, seatbelt signs and emergency exit lights, and air conditioning, and some other ancillary systems here. So everything's there, sorted. Right then, so let's get our transponder set. We'll squawk 2000 into that, And what we'll do, in case we have a problem on the departure, we will bring the aircraft back for a approach and landing back here. So we'll set up the ILS frequencies, 110.5. We'll set those on both the nav radios. 110.5. Enter. Flip that over to the active for now. 10.5. Enter active. And there's an ADF beacon here. And we'll set that up on both sides as well. So in case we do have a problem, we'll come back to the airport. Other than that, we'll continue on towards Gatwick. Right, it's outside. Yeah, I would say very foggy. So we're not going to see very much on the departure, I don't think. Let's get the doors, hatches all closed up. So cargo doors closing, main doors closing. We get rid of the tail prop and the wheel jocks. And we'll just double check to see if anybody is online. Right, so there's nobody online, so what we'll do then, in this case, if we don't have any online ATC, we go to what we call Unicom, which is basically a, what it says, Unicom. So basically you can broadcast your intentions over the radio, making blind calls. Regularly find this at small uncontrolled airfields, and it's exactly the same sort of principle on here. Uncontrolled. And we'll just broadcast what we intend to do or what we're doing. And fingers crossed, hopefully other folks online are paying attention. And as I say, we're getting back to Gatwick. It's a very busy airport on the CavokSim network. Hopefully we'll get some ATC there and not just ground, otherwise it gets very difficult trying to sequence yourself in between other folks that are flying without a radar screen. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Right, anyway, so don't need sim brief at the moment. We'll leave the Navigraph chart there at the moment. We'll bring up the airport charts. So at the moment, this is the parking chart. So we're on stand 22 here at the end of the terminal building. And what we'll do, once we're started up, there's our little aircraft symbol there. So what we'll do, we're taking off runway 30 down here. We'll come off stand and we'll taxi all the way down this taxiway Alpha, down to this whole point here. Because it's a bit foggy, we'll use this Alpha 3. Stay a little bit further away from the runway just in case. Once we get down there, we'll broadcast the fact that we're taking the runway and taking off, and once we're on the runway we'll head off, and I'll say this is our routing. We'll take off, and the noise abatement said 2,000 feet above ground level or over the coast before turning on to track. So we'll head out this way, and we'll probably just climb up to the altitude. We'll probably be up there before we hit the coasts, and then we'll make a right turn up to Dawley, which is our first waypoint, following this November 17 airway, LRIP, OPMET, and then this is the beginning of the star into London Gatwick, and basically the star route will actually take us down to Sockdo, over Needle, over the west tip of the Isle of Wight, and then bring us on in around this area, and then we'll come up and we'll make an approach, hopefully not to 26 left if the weather stays as I think it's going to. Right, anyway, so yeah, definitely getting foggier outside. We're not going to see very much on the departure, but oh well. Right, so let's get our beacon lights on, which tells the ground crew that we are ready to start. Just about to see it on the tail up there, little red light at the tail, and there's one at the bottom of the aircraft as well, just under here. Tells all the ground crew to basically get out of the way of the aircraft. Right, so what we'll do, we'll go both engines today. I'm not going to do a single engine taxi, so we'll go to start A and B. Brings up the start screen on the captain's MFD. So what we're looking is on the screens here. When I hit the start switch, we're looking for this needle here to raise to 10%, and then what we'll do, we'll go to the second number 2 condition lever into feather, and that will start the engine. We'll just monitor the parameters as it starts up. Right, so we'll say we've got clearance to start. We'll start 2. Started 2. Let me see a rotation on the engine. 10%. Condition lever number 2 to feather. There we go. Oil pressure rise. ITT rise. Looking for a hot start or a hung start. We're not looking at a hot start now. Excellent. Okay, good start. We'll start number 1 now. And same again, we'll cancel that caution. Looking with 10% on the NH. 10%. Condition lever 1 to feather. ITT is rising. Oil pressure is rising. And ITT is 279. Okie dokie, and the engines are stabilised, so we should have two good starts. We'll check outside, and keyboard's been a bit slow. Choice of a wireless keyboard. There we go, we have 2 engine starts. Right then. So condition levers can go now up to auto. Low pitch lights come on the propeller indications. We can now disconnect the ground power, so 2 switches here, and off and start aboard. Tell the cabin crew we're ready to go. Okay. So we'll bring up the map of Newquay here. So you see, same as the Navigraph chart, pretty much. So you can see the general layout of the airport here. There's us facing this way here. We're going on to the Alpha taxiway. We'll taxi all the way down to end, down to the runway Alpha 3, and then we'll head out for departure. So as I said, what we'll do, because we're on the network, we are all logged in. We'll do a blind call telling if anybody is here at the airport, tell them what we're intending on doing. And we're using the call sign today of East Flight 57 Lima November. Newquay traffic, good evening. East flight to 57 Lima November, ATR 72-600 on stand 22 is taxiing at runway 30 via Alpha to hold short at Alpha 3, Newquay traffic. So that basically says to anybody in the vicinity who we are, where we are, what our intentions are, and right, I thought I'd forgotten something then, but no, we seem alright. So yeah, who we are, where we are, what we're doing, and what our intentions are. So we've got flaps are set, taxi lights are on. And brakes are off. Right, so in reality that thing wouldn't be there. But hey ho, good job it's a simulator. So it's a very, very foggy evening here at Newquay, so take extra care. What we're doing. So we'll hit the go around switch on the throttles here that I set our flight director up on our primary flight display. So we'll take a nice gentle taxi down to the end of the runway. I should really go through some of the checklists. Right, so we're on the taxi checklist. So taxi takeoff lights are on, taxi lights are on, the brakes have been checked. FMAs are set, takeoff config test. Just this little switch down here. So no bells and whistles are coming up then, so everything's normal for takeoff. We've got the flaps set, we've got the trim set. Power management's takeoff. So a very quick takeoff briefing then. So departing to runway 30 here at Newquay, left seat departure, flaps 15, normal notch power. Climbing runway heading up to 2,390 feet before turning on course. So we'll go to heading, and we'll go to IS hold. So those modes I've just selected on the mode control panel here. So lateral bar of the vertical bar of the flight director there is being controlled by the heading select function of the flight management panel. So basically gives a course to steer, and the horizontal bar, which is the vertical mode of the flight mode panel. I've programmed for an indicated airspeed. So after departure, it's going to pitch us for the speed selected by the FMS, which is in magenta here. And also underneath it says alt select, which will basically capture the altitude 3,000 feet that I've got set in the flight control panel. Right, okay, so we're now at the Alpha 3 hold point. We'll quickly run through the before takeoff checks. Right, okay, so takeoff briefing we've just performed. Gust lock is off. Flight controls. We'll just do a quick check of the flight controls. So we go fully forward, fully back for the elevators, left for the ailerons, right for the ailerons, and the rudders. Rudder is checked. So flight controls transponder. So we'll go to the transponder on, and it basically gives air traffic control a picture of us on their radar screen. Airflow, PAX, normal, cabin crew, been advised, engine bleeds, exterior lights, flight control bars and rudders. Right, okay, so we'll go back to the ND on there. We'll select the weather radar on. Okay, the full takeoff checks are complete. Our takeoff checks are next, so we'll give ATC a blind call to say we're taking off runway 30. Newquay traffic, east flight 57 Lima November, entering runway 30 to take off. Newquay traffic. Right, so coming past Alpha 1, just a quick check of the traffic, not heard anybody else on frequency, so our blind call there should hopefully give them an idea that we're on the runway now. So line up down the runway heading 302, so we'll line up on 302. Very, very foggy evening. Probably in the region of about 150 metres, I would imagine. Right. I say we are ready to go. We'll just put the brakes on. We'll just have one quick check of the weather from the METAR. So we'll just bring up Newquay information weather. The weather saying 2806 degrees, so very slightly from the left. Okay. Right then. Power coming in. Brakes off. Holding very, very slightly down, aileron into wind. Power set, 80 knots. 06 V1 rotate. And we are airborne. So straight onto the flight directors now. Gears coming up. So a bit bumpy here as well. So climbing on ahead in 302, we're more or less on our magenta speed here. Going for 1,000 feet on the radio altimeter. And we'll get the autopilot in. Fuel damp selected, autopilot's in. Autopilot flight director. Okay, 1,000 to go. So climb thrust is in. Newquay traffic, East Flight 57, Lima November is airborne from runway 30 and just crossing the cove, turning right now direct to Dawley, East, Newquay traffic. Okay, so we can go direct to, we're above our noise abatement altitude now, so we'll go direct to Dawley and we'll go into nav mode, and what that will do, that'll tell the aircraft that we're going to go around to the left. Okay, so level at 3,000, the flaps can come up now, and the FMS commanding a speed of 170 knots, and we just level at 3,000 feet. So what we'll do then, as we've got no ATC control, our cruise level today 16,000 feet. So we'll scroll the altitude all the way up to 16,000, flight level 160, and we'll pop into IAS hold. Right, so the taxi lights can come off, cabin crew can be released. So we're just at 170 knots now. And just starting our climb. So the airport's down there somewhere. Okay, that explains why we're not actually accelerating then, the gear's not up. Right, we'll take the gear up then, shall we? Right. There we go, we're getting the climb performance now. I wonder why we were having a bit of trouble climbing. Right. So the gear's up and away, we're climbing through, we're now going to a flight level, so we're going to go set standard on the altimeters, standard, which gives it back to the 1013 hectopascal pressure setting, because we're now coming above the transition altitude as well. We're climbing through flight level 49 now, that corresponds to all the other altimeters. So that's set cross check. So we're climbing to flight level 160 now. very murky day down there. Right, so we're going to perform the after takeoff checks then. So the landing gear is now up. Flaps are up. Power management. Climb. MP propellers are in the climb mode. Engine bleeds. Are on, and the taxi land lights. We'll leave the land lights on till we're passing through 10,000 feet. And the altimeter set cross checked. So that should be the descent checks. Next then. So climbing up over a very murky evening from Newquay. We'll leave the seatbelt signs on then as well, as we're going to be going through some clouds. Might need some anti-icing on as well, as the temperature's getting low enough there. So a little bit of engine anti-icing, and we've got a bit of rain coming down onto the front of the aircraft as well. Just checking the ATC map as well. It seems like we're getting the tower, ground, and we have an ATIS for Gatwick, so fingers crossed we'll get approach on as well before we get there. Okay, so we'll just bring the charts in and we'll just have a quick we'll just get the charts together for the arrival segment of the flight. Right, so looking at the navigation display and the multifunction display here on the ATR, you can see where we've just departed from Newquay, about 20 miles behind us now. We're on a heading of 088, with a little bit of a tailwind here coming southwesterly-ish, 30 knots, so we're giving a ground speed of 226 knots. Our true airspeed just coming up for 200 knots. We're tracking up towards Dawley, and the weather radar on here is lighting up like a Christmas tree. You can see Dawley, Elrip, Otmet. That's where the beginning of our arrival into Gatwick will start. So going over to the PFE, we're still climbing 170 knots in magenta, so it's being controlled by the FMS here. And as we're now above 10,000 feet, we can now turn off the landing lights. Very murky clouds outside. So going up through flight level 110, climbing to flight level 160. Again, the heading displaying of 087. And Dawley is on a bearing of 085. Our heading is very slightly to the right of that track there to counter for that wind, which is coming slightly off of our starboard quarter. With just over 35 miles to run. Icing detected. I'll put some prop icing on. And it's a shame it's not a bit more of a nicer evening out. So for anybody watching at home, I hope you're enjoying the stream so far, and hopefully all the settings have come up trumps this week. Last week I did have a lot of trouble with sound issues. Somebody pointed out about 3/4 of the way through that there wasn't any sound at all, and also the fact that my microphone wasn't streaming. So hopefully that's all been resolved, so hopefully you're all enjoying at home. I do have another stream tomorrow planned for all the PMDG 737-800 going from Stansted up to Edinburgh, hopefully again on VATSIM. Hopefully we'll have some ATC tomorrow night, but for now I hope you're enjoying the ATR. So the little chime there is just to warn us that the altimeter's just coming up for flight level 160. That's our cruise altitude for the remainder of the flight. As we're still in cloud, remarkably, not unusual for the UK in the slightest. We'll keep the seatbelt signs on, keep the passengers in their seats. We don't want any unnecessary bumps for them. So still in the region of icing outside as well. So I've got all the icing on that anti-icing on that I can figure to put on. Never had the problem before so far in the 2 weeks that I've been flying the aircraft. But Right then, so just levelled at flight level 160. The aircraft is going to accelerate now to its cruise speed. What we'll do then, we'll put the power management to cruise. And I went the wrong way. Okay, not quite 100% sure why the props went to full, but see if we can sort that out. So put them into 100% and bring them back to auto. Yeah, there we go. Puts them back down. Let's make sure they're a bit more quieter. Alright, so I'll just set the So I'll just pop that on standby then for a moment, the weather radar, just so I can actually see what I'm doing. Right, okay, so we'll bring in the arrivals chart for Gatwick then, the Opmet 2 Golf. And we'll just go through this. So we're just overhead Dawley, going to LRIP. So we're just turning to LRIP now. So Opmet. So on the star, this is the star standard arrivals chart for Gatwick for aircraft that are coming in from the west of the UK. So basically it says from Opmet, and we're required, or to flight level 270. We're not actually there today because we're only at 16,000 feet. We're not going to be climbing up to 27,000. We'll change the constraint in the FMS to our current cruise altitude. From Opmet we go to Sokdu. We don't go overhead Bilney because that's slightly off the path there on this other bit of airway, which is holding, which we're not going to be doing. So Sokdu, then to Needle. Needle again, flight level 210. It's actually coded as 210 in there, but we're not going to be going over that, so we're going to be staying at 16,000 feet. And I think I've put in 17,000 at Opmet. No, 16,000 feet. Thank you very much. So we'll change that to 16,000. Sokdu, Needle, Elder, then up to Tetlu. Tetlu, where we maintain 250 knots, 13,000 feet, flight level 130, which is coded correctly. Then on to Holly, and round to Willow. So Harley at 220 knots, Willow at flight level 70 at 220 knots. Then if we go to the initial approach, runway 26 left, which we're expecting today, from Willow, if we enter the holding, we're to leave at 4,000 feet, around to this waypoint here, Delta 114 Victor, Delta 114 Victor, up to Mayfield, and then we have another Mayfield waypoint here. It's not kind of coded very well, at 2,000 feet, then from there onto the ILS chart. Centre fix at 2,000 feet, which is the platform altitude for the ILS approach. Follow fix intercept 2,000 feet, from 5.5 miles down to runway 26 left. In case of a missed approach, so the missed approach here says so climb to 3,000 straight ahead until passing 2,000 feet, or DME 1.0 India Whiskey Whiskey, which is the ILS DME. Whichever is later, turn left on our heading on 178 and then is directed by ATC. So 2,000 feet and then manual altitude 3,000. So the missed approach is alright. We will look at... Right, okay, so just quickly for the VNAV at Gatwick, we'll just have a quick look at the weather at Gatwick. So 170, all the 9s, broken 400, 13 and 12. Okay. And we'll grab the lovely slowing clouds. Brilliant. Okay, so just while we're at it then, we'll go to the comm radios and we'll get the ATIS. The ATIS at Gatwick, frequency 136 decimal 525. Enter.
Gatwick information Charlie. Time 1820 Zulu. Runway in use 26 left. IELS approach to be expected. Transition level 70, wind 190 at 6. Wind variable between 170 and 230. Visibility 3,000 meters. Mist. Ceiling 400 broken. Temperature 13. Dew point 12. Altimeter 1018. Acknowledge receipt of information Charlie and advise aircraft type on first contact. Advise on initial contact. You have information. Charlie.
Right, okay. I managed to get all that in one. That was pretty good going. Gatwick is broadcasting information Charlie at time 1820 Zulu. So that was from about an hour ago. Using runway 26 left, transition level on our descent then, flight level 70. The wind's 190 degrees 6 knots, varying between 170 and 230, so pretty much a direct crosswind then. 3,000 metres in mist, so visibility's alright. Clouds are broken at 400 feet above the ground, so we should be down under the cloud layer before seeing the runway then. Temperature 13, dew point is 12, which basically gives about 90% humidity then, hence the mist. And the QNH, which is the pressure setting, 1018 hectopascals. Right then, so we've gone through the arrival. So in the FMS then, we'll just quickly put in the air temperature of 30. Does it not want to do it? Doesn't want to do it. Probably not implemented yet. We'll put the transition level 7,000 in there. It doesn't like that either. Shock. Right, okay then. We'll put in information into here then, shall we? QNH 1018. Ground wind is 190 at 6. 190 at 6 knots. Let's try that again, shall we? 190 at 6 knots. Okay, I think I found a bug. Alright, never mind. Right then, so coming down the ILS, platform altitude 2,000 feet from 5.5 DME. Check-in height at 4 miles, 1520. 1 mile, 570. We're a category A aircraft, so we need a runway visual range of no less than 550 metres. Minimum descent altitude, we're on a Cat 1 ILS, so the MDA is decision altitude 396, so we'll put 396 in here. We'll scroll that all the way back to, we'll round it up to 400 feet, as it only goes in 10 degree increments. $400 feet. I'll just double check that on the FO side. Excellent. Still cruising nicely through clouds out there, as we see. Just quickly check how we're doing. Okay, so we just got over Sokdu, heading now direct to Needle. Just under 16 miles to run. We'll leave all the anti-icing on. Oh dear. Okay. I think it's probably a good idea then. We'll yeah, okay. Again, this is why you have 2 crew members on the flight deck. Yeah, that's a very honest upwing. Yeah, we should never let it get like that. up. I'm only a simulator pilot and not a real life pilot. Right, okay. I think maybe in that case then we should probably start making our way down a little bit. Let's just have a look, see if there's anybody online. Okay then, we'll start going down a little bit. And then, oh, hang on. We're breaking out the clouds now, so hopefully that ice will bugger off. Okay, I think we'll take a gentle descent down to, we'll say 13,000. Go into VS and take a 500 foot descent. Get down into some warmer air. Very thundery out there by the looks of things. So overhead needle, that's the Needles. They're on the west coast, of western tip of the Isle of Wight, hence the name Needle. Can't see very much from up here, but Southampton down there somewhere. Portsmouth over here. Our destination Gatwick could be off over in the distance here somewhere. Right, we'll set up the nav radios then. So we'll set up the Mayfield VOR 1197 119.7 0 enter 119.7 Oh, 117.9 even. One 7.9. ILS 110.9 and 110.9. .257's the course. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just quickly go into heading old, come off of this, Set the courses around to 257, so when we get onto the ILS, okay, we'll go back into nav mode, so back into LNAV. So we are starting to see a little bit more of the ground now. So I'm guessing we've just gone over Portsmouth, southern England at the moment. Looking like we've got in front of us down there. Selsey, maybe Forney Island. Okay, so we're just going to level out 13,000 then. Okay, so a quick look at the map. Looks like Gatwick Tower's gone offline then. So we're on our own then. So we'll go down to flight level 70 then, and we'll bring the power back a little bit just to keep the speed under control so we don't go through 250 knots. Okay, as there's no approach on at the moment, what we'll do, we'll go from Holly, we'll route direct to Mayfield and start setting up, sequence ourselves for an approach. So we'll lose Willow, we'll lose that one. So after Holly, we'll go direct to Mayfield. And we'll go down to 4,000 feet. So as we're now going down to an altitude, we'll go to set the QH1018, which we had from the ATIS information, and we're below 9,000 feet now, so the landing lights can come on. Okay, so as we're now going in towards Mayfield, we'll do a call on the traffic frequency, on the Unicom frequency, just to tell them where we are and our intentions. Gatwick traffic, good evening. East flight 57 Lima November is approximately 10 miles to the southwest of Mayfield to self-position for the ILS, runway 26 left, descending 4,000 feet. Gatwick traffic. Right then, approach check, seatbelt signs are on, landing lights are on, altimeter set, cross checked, coming through 6,000 feet, descended 4,000 feet, and cabin altitude, and the sim's frozen, and just bring up the systems page, cabin altitude. Altitude 5,000 feet, diff pressure coming down. Excellent. So you'll see a few aircraft dotted about. There's Gatwick over there at the 9 o'clock position. Aircraft very slowly getting rid of the ice. So when we land there, we're coming in on 26 left, which is this long runway here. We'll plan to vacate via Echo and we'll head to this area of the terminal, South Terminal Pier 1. So off of Echo, and depending on where ground take us, ground frequency is online. let's get us down a little bit quicker. Start bringing the speed back a bit more as well. Right, okay, so what we'll do then, we'll select heading mode, we'll go to VOR ILS modes. And we'll tune the ILS. Put the right frequency in, there we go, we should have the ILS frequency. So 11.5 miles out then, just coming down through 2,300 to level at 2,000 feet. And let's get the aircraft to go left. So we'll bring it around to 280 degrees. Go to nav to arm the localizer, which we have captured now. Turned it a little bit late, so we've gone through the localizer. That will come back on the that'll come back nicely, hopefully. There's the airport in front of us down there. Okay. Okay, so it's outstar, so it's just saying that the aircraft's captured 2,000 feet, and we're about 10 miles on the localizer. We'll just go back into heading mode just to recapture that. So heading of, tell it to go 230, and then we'll rearm the localizer just to help it out a little bit. We'll bring the speed back to 170 then, that's for our flat 15 speed. There we go, so the localizer's come back in now, so hopefully we'll capture that again. So localizer capture, so the aircraft will swing back over to the right. We'll set the heading back to the runway heading. Okay, we'll go flat 15. And arm the approach, so arm the glide slope. Gatwick traffic, East Flight 57 leaving November is localizer established. 26 left at 6 miles, just intercepting the glide slope. Gatwick traffic. Okay, so next reading on here then, we should get glide slope green. There we go, and that'll follow on down on the glide slope now then. So we're back 5.5 miles, exactly on profile. Gears coming down then. Power management is to take off, and we'll set the go around altitude of 3,000 feet. So in case of a missed approach, then descend it down to 400 feet MDA. If we have to go around, straight ahead to 2,000 feet or IWW 1 mile, whichever is later, and then heading 178. Okay, the landing checks. Cabin crew been warned. Landing gear is down, flaps are going to 30. Power management, back into takeoff. Tail low speed. We still have a little bit of ice left on the aircraft. But no factor. And expecting to exit the runway at Echo. Okay, a little bit low on the glide slope, so we'll go autopilot off. Just help it out a little bit. Gatwick traffic, East Flight 57 Lima November, short finals, runway 26 left to land. Gatwick traffic. So back on the glides. A little bit bumpy here. Can't see any aircraft on the runway. Approaching minimums. Okay, continuing. Ever so slightly low on the pappies. A little bit windy. Power back to idle. Touchdown. Bit of full pressure on the stick. And where's the aircraft want to go? That way. Into forward idle, we'll get ourselves off the runway. Looks like Echo, which is exactly where we wanted to come off at. Right, idle gate, taxi lights on, land lights off, strobe lights off, and we're on to Echo. Ourselves onto 08 left and we'll contact ground.
Get there to Romeo Papa, contact London Control 134.125. Goodbye. 134.125, that's to Romeo Papa. Thanks for your help. Have a good evening. Thank you, bye.
Gatwick ground, good evening to you. It's East Flight 57 Lima November with you. Just vacated runway 26 left off of it, Echo, and we're on 08 right. It's correction 08 left.
East Flight 57 Lima November, Gatwick ground, good evening. Take the next left to join Juliet, and then taxi stand 5 by Juliet, Zulu, and Whiskey.
Okay, take the left. Stand 5 via Juliet, Zulu and Whiskey, East Flight 57 Lima November.
At East Flight 57 Lima November, I missed Victor off the end, so it should be Juliet, Zulu, Whiskey and Victor.
Sorry, I missed that 57 Lima November.
East Flight 57 Lima November, no problem, I was just correcting myself, I missed the taxiway off the end. It's Juliet, Zulu, Whiskey and Victor.
Okay, so we're going to stand 5 via Juliet, Zulu, Whiskey and Victor, East Flight 57 Lima November. Okay, so just while we're doing that, we'll slow it right the way back. We'll just get that taxi chart just to find out where we are going. So the airport chart, so currently we are taxiing on Juliet, and we bring up the parking stands. Okay, so a very nice little stand here. So we're going to stand here, stand 5. So where we're at, we're coming along this taxiway, Juliet. He wants us to go all the way through Juliet onto Zulu, right at Whiskey. So we're going to go right towards the terminal building, to the very last right and the first left, and we're going to go right onto this corner stand here. Right, okay, so now we're off the runway and we've got our taxi clearance. We'll just clean up the aircraft. Flaps are coming up. Flight directors can go to standby. Strobes are off. And we can do a single engine taxi, so we'll keep the number 2 running as we are coming in. So engine number 1 can go to feather. And engine 1 shut down. So now we're running in on 1 engine. So number 1 shut down there. Number 2 still running. Turn off these anti-icing systems now. Oh, hello forklift truck. So we're just going past Papa Taxi Way.
Hotel, stand 49 right, push and start through, face to the west. Push and start through, face west, hotel.
So that's the Papa Taxiway. So yeah, so we're just crossing this section here. Next crossing of November. So November's that way and that way. EasyJet flight. Landing again, 26 left. Strangely very quiet on frequency tonight. Usually Gatwick in the evening is quite a busy airport, so very surprised to not have much in the way of any more ATC online. Oh well, never mind. Still, we managed to get here from Newquay. Quite an enjoyable flight. Hopefully everybody at home watching has enjoyed the flight as well. A little bit worrying with the amount of icing we had on the aircraft earlier as we were flying through all that cloud on the way here. Luckily in a simulator, in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's not too much of an issue, and being very new to this aircraft that we've added on, not quite sure if I dealt with it in the correct way, but you know, we live to learn to love a day, so not too many issues. So there we go, we're on Whiskey Taxiway now. And then stand 5 is just around the corner here on the opposite side of this Condor 757. very long aircraft, this Condor 757. It's the 300 series 757. So
Easy 32 Tango, is that for taxi? Easy 32 Tango, taxi, Kilo, Papa, Alpha Sierra, hold Alpha 2.
we should just about squeeze in behind him.
Easy 32 Tango, sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Okay, so taxi lights can come off then. We don't want to blind the ground crew.
Kilo, Papa, Alpha Sierra, hold Alpha 2.
So stand 5. What we'll do, we'll pull up ever so slightly short of that jet bridge. We don't need the jet bridge today because we're not big enough aircraft. Plus we have our own air stairs. Right, so parking brakes are set to park. We will go to feather, and while we're waiting for the ground power unit, we'll put the prop brake on. It's ready. Prop brake is on. And what that does, the engine number 2 itself will still be running to provide us power, but the prop brake does exactly what it says. Stops the propeller from spinning to make it safe for the ground crew to get near the aircraft. We'll just say thanks for the controller and we'll log off. Gatwick ground, East Flight 57, Lima November's on stand 5 now and logging off. Thanks very much for the service and have a great night. Bye.
East Flight 57, Lima November, thanks to you, bye. Gatwick ground, good evening. Walker 3460 at stand 112.
Transponders off.
Information Bravo. Aircraft type A320 Neo. Request clearance to Manchester, please.
So just check we've got the ground power set. Ground power, got 2 avail lights on, so they are set now. And we've got ground power established. We can go shut off on the condition lever. There we go, so the engine's running down now then. That beacon light can come off, seatbelt signs can come off. And we are safely at Gatwick. So we just sign off from CavokSim. There we are, guys. So a very warm welcome to Gatwick Airport, and with a flight time of 53 minutes. Safely on the ground. Hopefully you heard the stream okay, not like the problems we had last week, and I've had time to tweak some of the settings. Hopefully everything's all good. Didn't have much chance to catch up on the chat there, but let's see a couple of viewers we have in. Hey Darren, yeah, great to see you in the chat there, mate, and thank you very much. Yeah, if you're about tomorrow, mate, and I've got another stream for the same time, 7:30. We'll be going Ryanair tomorrow in the 737-800 domestic flight, Stansted to Edinburgh, again on CavokSim, so hope to see you tomorrow. Anybody else viewing later on? Thanks very much for watching the stream, and take care, have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Take care, bye bye.